Hey guys, it's been a little bit, so I want to vlog a little bit and catch you guys up. So a lot of you guys already know, I had surgery to remove 2 more toes. Not the funnest experience, but it had to happen. It's been kind of stressful between me and my husband. A lot of just unnecessary fights. Couples don't always get along, and sometimes we don't communicate as well as we should. But it's okay. I've been watching these videos by this really great guy. His name is Darman. Dharmann. Y'all need to seriously check him out. He's all over YouTube as well. Most inspiring videos I think I've ever seen in my life. It's really helped me be a lot kinder towards people and get me to really think about my life and how much I take for granted and taking people for granted and not communicating. This man's videos have literally changed my life. So, shout out to him. Wow. Mother's Day was completely stressful. I didn't go to church because obviously I really thought I'd be a mother by now, and that's not going to happen. So, it was a emotional, sucky day. But I began to realize that it's because I'm not a mom. I'm really blessed with a stepmom who loves me, and she doesn't have to. My real mother and I obviously don't get along very much because of very obvious reasons that I've spoke about through these videos. But my stepmom and I, we talk every single day. Even if it's just for 5 minutes to check in and say hello. Sometimes I get so wrapped up in the woe is me, poor me, I forget to count my blessings. My husband is one of my biggest blessings as well. He's helping me realize that no matter everything I went through in my life, every downfall, every person who abused me, every situation I was ever in, it made me who I am. And that I'm still lovable. I'm me. A better me. Being in bed a lot is not easy because you think of all the things that happened to you. And I've had a lot of flashbacks recently. It hasn't been easy. I've had to think about, and I don't know why. My mother's ex keeps popping in my head. The one who physically and mentally abused me for 7 years straight. It's been hard because I've been angry at my mother. Even though I told her I forgive her, fact is it's still in my head and still in my heart what happened. And I've been finding myself get really, really angry. Because I'm still trying to understand how my mother would let this stuff happen. In a sense, like what he did to me, kind of helped me in a sense to know that I was stronger. I was the one who survived. I remember when he finally drove my brother to leave. I knew something was going on because my brother was always asking my father, hey, Dad, what would it be like if I lived here? Yada. My mother's boyfriend used to destroy our rooms. Looked like a bowl in a china shop had gone through. And he always used to leave nasty little notes saying, next time clean it to his expectations. Which, of course, was never good enough. Come to find out that, his goal was to drive both of us away. But that wasn't going to happen for me. I was really strong. And the night that he drove my brother out, I looked at him and I said, no matter what you do to me, I'm staying. I am going to win. That was the beginning of a really, really long 7 years. He never touched me sexually. I probably would have killed him. Just the emotional torture every single day, though, and being made to kneel against brick walls with my shins digging into the bricks for an hour on end while he mentally broke me down, and just it was horrible. So unfortunately, due to all my time in bed, that's been coming back to me, and sometimes I wonder why I didn't take my life, and then I remember, why give him that power? In doing that, I also have to remember that anytime I let him enter my thoughts, I'm giving him power. I'm giving a dead man power. And even at 42, yes, I did say my real age, it's still affecting me. I think very much it still affects my brother. He just deals with it in a different way. Although I have seen my brother change recently, and I hope he continues to change. Truth is, I do love my brother very much. I came across pictures of us as kids, and I sent them to his phone, and little by little, I want to show him that we did have a great relationship. I really missed him when he left. God, we used to fight like cats and dogs, but we were together. And growing up, we were quite the handful. Along with the fights we had, oh my God, some of the stuff that we used to do. Like finger painting ourselves green a day before picture day. We decided to look like the Incredible Hulk. My mother said, go find something to do. She was on the phone, and that finger paints were nearby. Never tell a 4 and 5-year-old kid to go find something to do that involved finger paint. Trying to remember some of the happier times. God knows they wouldn't last. It's one part I really hate about being in bed, because I have a tendency to remember the bad stuff that happened to me too. I think because of what happened, I always tell people I was raised with more than military punishment. Because it was pretty damn bad. And anytime he was nice to you, there was always a payback. If he fixed you a bowl of soup, you'd have to be on your hands and knees picking up sticks and pine cones for the next 2 days. And that's a story for another time, but I learned to hate pine trees, let's put it that way. It's just awful. Anytime I see a pine tree, I scream. Not literally. But I wish to God, sometimes something would happen that would just wipe out all my memories and just have me start over again. I know I have the ability to control these unfortunate thoughts, but I'm also trying to remember that every step I took, pardon the pun, and every bad experience, if I try to make it into something good, that makes me a better person. The only thing I really have trouble with was when men took advantage of me. And I think you know what I'm getting at, ladies, and some of you men, if you watch this, you'll obviously get it too. Men liked me from a really early age, and I do mean early. What a grown-ass man would find attractive about a 6-year-old is beyond me. I was allowed to keep my clothes on, but it was... I don't even want to go there. But my mom and my stepdad, like, I had a wonderful stepdad for a while when I was growing up. Life didn't really become really sucky until I was like 11, maybe. They kind of found out what was going on, and of course the man was never allowed around me again. To this day, I still don't like being touched sometimes, and, you know, I freak out even on my husband, and he has to, you know, calm me down. I mean, it got really bad when I started to live on the street because everything that was happening at home. So it was either getting abused on the street, you know, in a sexual way, or getting abused at home mentally and physically, being hit every time I turned around at home, and my mother never believing it. So that was, you know, a really tough call for me to make. Neither one of them were good. And I thought so many times about trying to kill myself out there. But again, I'm still here. I have the will of a survivor, and I am a survivor. There's people who've survived worse, and there's people who didn't survive worse. There are people that took their lives because they couldn't handle it. I made it through. One thing I used to do, especially when I was getting sexually, you know, shall I say mishandled? I used to put myself in a different place. Like, spirit-wise, like, I used to, what would be known in a different community, so to speak, is called astroplaning. You take yourself outside your body. So basically, you can deal with the trauma that's happening. And then, when you're forced to come back in, you come back in. You're in a better place. I learned how to do that even before I got sexually mishandled. When I was having to kneel on the wall a lot. Like, sometimes twice a day for an hour. I mean, like, you know, depending on his whim. If I slumped, I would get hit in the back of the head and told to kneel straight. Yes, this was very fun, let me tell you. Sorry, notice the sarcasm? So I learned to take myself out of my body. I was physically there, emotionally and spirit-wise, I was in a completely different place. And I kind of learned how to come back when I had to, like being asked a question. If I didn't answer the question the right way, I'd get hit. I'd get hit for just about anything. He was very smart. He never let the bruises show up. You know, it was either a smack to the back of the head or a punch to the side of the head. He was very slick. That's how he got away with it for so long. But, you know, it's kind of a cool trick to learn with, you know, being able to get outside myself. Because when I was on the street, I try very hard to, no matter what was happening, I just zone out completely and come back when they were done. You know, it's pretty hard for me to talk about sometimes, but I'm really hoping that by doing these, it's gonna reach somebody, you know. The only people who have been able to really see through me, like, straight out, has been kids. Kids are just, like, the best. Sometimes I get skittish because I don't know how to deal with kids because I think I'm a tough ass. Apparently, kids see different. I was kind of blown away. Last week, was the first time I went to church on Wednesday, since my surgery, and I was in my wheelchair. And these two adorable little kids came up to me, and they asked what happened, why I was in my chair, and I thought on my feet, pun intended there, and I was like, I get an alley that got fixed, and it'll just take me a little while to walk. And these cute little kids wanted to give me cheek kisses and try to push my wheelchair. They couldn't have been more than 5. I can be as tough as I want to be, but I see kids and I turn to jelly. I think kids can see that. I walk around all day and I look like I could kill people. If looks could kill, everybody would be dead. I see a kid and my face just lights up and they see my heart. They don't see that exterior. If more people actually got to see the inside, I think I'd probably have a lot more friends. But again, because of the situation I grew up in, I didn't trust anybody, obviously. So having friends is like really, really difficult for me. Because obviously I'm thinking, oh, what's your motive? What are you gonna do? Ironically, even after being sexually abused through men on the street, most of my friends are guys. Just really, really messed up. So I'm learning how to have more girlfriends. It took me 42 years to learn that not all females were bad. And not all men were bad. I'm beginning to really trust more females at church, that was really hard. Obviously, I'm not going to trust everyone, and it's not good to trust everyone. Be guarded. But I remember the first time I was at a friend's party, and we were talking, and like the men were all over in their little corner talking about whatever. I was saying to my friend, I was like, yeah, I, just have a bunch of men friends. Don't really have too many females I hang out with. And she's like, I would never hang out with a man if my husband wasn't around. And I was like, kind of sounds strange. I mean, to me, it sounded like, they don't trust each other. And as I'm beginning to know her and know God more, one, God is the most important man in your life. He should be. And if he's not, then there is a problem. But also, my friend was right. Shouldn't be hanging out with men away from your husband. Be friends with married people and married people only. It's better for the marriage. And I'm thankful that my friend said that. And like, now we actually have couples friends and we do game night and going on road trips on our motorcycles. It's a great life. I just have to let that guard down a little. I know sometimes my videos are kind of not always talking about my past. Sometimes it's going to be about the present, but it leads from the past, so I try to give y'all backstories. I realize this is my longest video yet, so I'm going to end this. And I really hope this helps somebody. So shout out to Darman, DHARMANN. Y'all follow him on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. It'll be so worth it. And also, of course, my favorite shout-outs go to Queen Latifah for the inspiration to be who I am, and also Tyra Banks. I know they're probably never going to see this, but you never know. Love and peace. Bye, y'all.